Hi Juliana, hi Sarah.
Hello, Lakshay, hello,
Hello,
Sarah.
hello
Hello everyone.
Juliana, hello. Yeah.
Good evening everyone and welcome to another episode of the ReWeave Podcast. Let me begin with a simple question today. So how many of us have clothes in our wardrobes that we have not worn in months or even years for that matter? Perhaps it's a dress we bought for a special occasion, or it's a shirt that is no longer that fits our style, or something we purchased on impulse buying because there was a sale. So the reality is that fashion has become faster than ever before, and because of which the trends are changing overnight, wardrobes continue to expand, and clothing is increasingly treated as disposable. But what if our clothes had a second chance? What if fashion was not just about buying something new, but also about extending value, reducing waste, and making more conscious choices? That is exactly what today's conversation is all about. Over to Sarah.
Thank you, Lakshya. So before we begin today's session, would like to clarify, uh, we would like to introduce everyone that is being here. So first of all, let me take the opportunity of thanking everyone for giving this opportunity. So Project ReWeave is a sustainability initiative led by Muskan Sifia from Global Shapers Kolkata Hub, focused on raising awareness about textile waste and promoting more responsible fashion choices. Through awareness campaigns, community engagement activities, and collection drives, the project encourages individuals to rethink how they consume, use, and dispose of clothing. Today, Project Reweave has successfully completed more than 10 collection drives, diverting over 2,500 kilograms of textile waste, which has been responsibly reused through our implementation partner, Mooj. Recognizing the meaningful change begins with awareness and dialogue. Initiative launched the ReWeave Podcast, a platform that brings together entrepreneurs, innovators, sustainability practitioners, and change makers to explore the future of fashion and circularity. This podcast series is collective effort led by Kochi Shapers Hub, Kolkata Hub, Ahmedabad Hub, Chennai, Dehradun, Jaipur, Jodhpur, Kathmandu, Nagpur, and Navi Mumbai. With efforts from earthday.org, Elixir Foundation, and BRICS Youth Alliances. As we continue this journey, we are excited to welcome you to another episode of the ReWeave Podcast. Previous episodes of the series are available on the YouTube channel, where we have explored diverse perspectives on sustainable fashion, circular economy models, and responsible consumption. For those joining us for the first time, the Global Shapers Community is an initiative of the World Economic Forum established in 2011 to empower young leaders. Today, the network comprises over 10,600 global shapers, more than 6,600 alumni across the globe. Collectively, these young change makers lead thousands of impactful projects worldwide. So, earthday.org is a global partner that we have currently for this meeting. And it's a platform that provides access to information, resources, and resources largest environmental networks, working with more than uh, 150 partners across 197 countries to drive action for people and the planet. Elixir Foundation is a youth-led organization founded by President's Award winners from the Government of India. And BRICS Youth Alliance serves as a collaborative platform that amplifies youth voice across BRICS nations. Together, these organizations represent a shared vision of creating informed, empowered, and sustainable communities. And we are grateful for their support in advancing the mission of Project Reveal. Over to you, Laksh.
I think this is the most interesting part in the beginning of this podcast, which is introduction of our speaker today. So today's episode explores one of the most promising shifts in the sustainable fashion, which is thrift culture and circulation and circular fashion. So, to help us navigate this conversation, we are delighted to welcome Juliana Biju, who is the founder and CEO of ReWago. Juliana's journey is particularly inspiring because it combines global corporate experience with purpose driven entrepreneurship. After working as a business controller with H&M in Sweden, she gained her first hand insight into the scale and the complexity of the global fashion industry. That experience led her to ask an important question: can fashion be both desirable and sustainable? The answer inspired her to create ReWago, a circular fashion platform which is dedicated to extending the life of clothing, reducing textile waste, and empowering local thrift sellers across the country. Incubated at NSRCEL in Bangalore, ReWago has emerged as part of India's growing circular fashion movement, helping consumers embrace more sustainable ways of buying and selling fashion. She is also an alumna of Government Model Engineering College and AEDGE Business School. Juliana has received multiple recognitions for her leadership, innovation, and commitment to sustainability, including the Business Excellence Award in the CEO category at a very young age. Juliana, we are delighted to have you here with us today, and I would like to welcome you on behalf of Global Shapers community. And we look forward to learning more about your journey, the story behind ReWago, and your vision for making the thrift culture a mainstream movement in the country. Welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Lakshay, for that wonderful introduction. And super happy to be here with all of you. Very excited to share uh, things that I have in mind, what's cooking in ReWago, and to interact with all of you here today.
Yeah. So, as we are starting into
Yeah.
this session, we'll start off with an icebreaker. So, I would love to start asking this question to you, Juliana. What's one item in your wardrobe that you have on the longest and still love wearing today?
So I would say this clothing that I'm wearing now, um I wore it on purpose. So this was actually a kurti that I had, a cotton kurti that I had. It was a very long back ago, and it faded out in between, and then finally it also had like a scar. And then I upcycled it. One of my friend Hannah, she's an upcycling artist in Kochi, and she upcycled this for me as a top. So I think this is the longest. This top is the longest I've worn because I still love wearing it. It's a totally different style. It's still like a faded fabric, but just feels like it blends in with the pattern. So yeah, it's this one I would say.
That's really great, Juliana.
Yeah.
Hearing from you where upcycling clothes, that's an inspiration for many to hear. I believe everyone in this call will be very inspired by that. So now jumping on to the problem statement of today's podcast. Every entrepreneurial journey begins with a moment of curiosity, concern, or realization. What first made you look at clothing waste and think this is a problem worth solving?
Yes. So I wouldn't say it's like one single reason because it just didn't happen like one fine day out of nowhere. It was a gradual realization, probably. So in my intro video that I posted, I mentioned about how I thrifted my first outfit 6 years ago. Before that, I didn't even know about thrifting. I was not that aware about the whole culture. 6 years ago, when I was in France for my master's in marketing and brand management, I got my internship at L'Oreal, and you know, my dream job, big company, I should dress up well. I cannot just keep on wearing my sweat t-shirts and my hoodies when I go for work, right? So that's when I was like, okay, I'm a student. I've still not started to earn because it's my first internship, and I didn't have the budget. And that's how I explored a platform called Vinted, which is very similar to ReWago, but established in Europe and US. So I saw this platform and I found this very beautiful Zara pants in market like 30 euros. but I found it for €3, and I was super excited. But at the same time, it felt a little suspicious because, okay, I mean, such a good thing for €3, there should be something wrong with the product. And I know it's used, so I thought it might come out really bad, but it's worth a try. So that's how I thrifted my first outfit. And when it came, it was a very beautiful Zara pants. I still wear it. It was like good quality. I mean, it's definitely looks like it's a little used, but it doesn't look like fresh new. But I can still wear it outside, you know. And that's how for me it was like finding a treasure. For me, it was like, oh, thrifting is cool. It's not like you get bad stuff. Secondhand doesn't mean that you're gonna get bad stuff. You still can get good stuff there, and that too super affordable. And that's how I started my thrifting journey. I started thrifting everything since then. Since then, if I need something, I first think, okay, should I? First, I think, do I really need it? Secondly, I think if I can thrift it, that's way better. So though it started off on an economical perspective, because it was economical reasons why I started thrifting. Later on, I joined H&M, world's biggest fast fashion brand. I joined as a business strategist in their global team, and that's how I started to gain a lot of knowledge about consumption, clothing, about the consumption trends, all those data. And I kind of realized the sustainable aspects, the ecological aspects, how the whole the shopping habits of people around the globe is affecting our planet. And eventually, I started becoming a little anxious. So I was someone who loved shopping. I used to buy things even when I didn't really wanted it. But later on, after having this realization, I started having this eco anxiety. Like whenever I have to buy something, I think 100 times, like, do I really need to buy this? Because I know that it's going to be a lot of, it's causing a lot of carbon footprints. It's going to cause a lot of problems. I was like, I think for 100 times, and then I see if I can thrift it. Like, I try to see if I can buy it secondhand, and then if I still don't get it, and if I really need something, that's when I start to buy. So this change in habit of mine, I realized that it is kind of the need of the hour. I felt there should be a system that could help people actually solve this problem of overconsumption, to solve this problem, like to help them easily buy things secondhand. And coming back to India was always the plan. Coming back to India and starting something on my own was always the plan. But I didn't know what. But that's when I realized, okay, then this, ReWago, I put this term ReWago, and I was like, yes, this is what I want to do in life. I want to come back to India, start this, and make it happen for the entire nation, because we are kind of the biggest in population, second biggest. So if we bring a big change in this industry, that's really going to help globally. It's going to have that impact globally. So yeah, that's how I started this journey.
I think that's pretty interesting. And obviously, when I was introducing you, I said that it's more of a movement than starting
Yeah,
a startup, right? So
yeah,
I think I would like to build upon that, and I would more. I'm curious that there's always something which sparks the idea. Either it is a statistic, or some sort of an experience, or some conversation that happens. I'm sure your experience made you think about thrift culture, thrift fashion, and second hand clothing and all that aspects of it. But is there any quantifiable number that you came across, or some word that came from someone who is highly experienced, that completely changed your way of looking at it? I mean, you got excited by wearing yourself a used Zara outfit, but is there some piece of number or something that you learned and then you were like, wow, this can be something big?
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it's any particular conversation or anything, but number wise, I mean, definitely, because I've worked with H&M. So you are exposed to the data of fashion industry globally, and you see the amount of consumption that's happening. And I still remember we actually had a subject called sustainable consumption during our MSc in marketing and brand management. I remember our professor He was a very good professor. The session with him, so he's the one who pointed out the platform Vinted. Like that's how I got to know about Vinted. But during his session, he threw a lot of statistics like these, about how textile industry is affecting our planet. Like roughly, if you say like in a second, a truckload of textile waste is being produced. So like when we are talking, truckloads of textile waste is being produced globally. And isn't that alarming? Because that's textile waste. But think about the amount of textile waste that's inside our wardrobe too, because we really use probably 10% or 5% of what we have. So that's a lot of waste and resources wasted. So I think all these numbers, that's how I also started becoming more conscious about how I shop, about my own shopping habits. Later on, when I got my apartment in Sweden, I furnished my entire apartment with like secondhand products. And for me, it was like, I felt really proud about myself. Like, over the year, when I kind of look back in this year, how many things did I buy fresh and new? And it's kind of reduced over the time, it's reduced drastically. And I feel proud about the amount of carbon footprints I have personally reduced. So, I think these statistics, these numbers, the data I was exposed to from the industry, that's the reason why I thought, yes, if I start ReWago, and if I could help at least 100 people to just change their consumption habits like how I've changed mine, that itself is helping a lot of carbon footprints to be reduced. So imagine if this company or this culture gets established in India, like nationwide. It's a lot, it's a big population, and we can bring a huge impact. So yeah, I would say these numbers.
I think that's pretty interesting. Pretty
Yeah.
much answered I wanted to know from you. I think over to Sarah. If you have any question.
Yeah, that's really fascinating, Juliana. How your deeper understanding of the problem often changes the habits that we have built over the time period. Because overconsumption that can lead to huge carbon footprint that you are already told. Because even in companies, they are adding to this carbon footprint, and everyone will be thinking everyone is adding to it. Why can't I? So, we taking responsibility of ourselves, that is the biggest step that one can take.
Yeah.
And that brings us to a next question that many listeners will be very much waiting for, I guess. Many people today has wardrobes filled with clothes they rarely wear, that we have discussed in the beginning itself. But do you think this happens, and what impact does this pattern of overconsumption create from both environmental as well as social perspective?
Yeah, it does create a lot of, it has a lot of impact environmentally and socially. I would say this is happening because we have made consumption super easy, right? You scroll on Instagram, every second scroll, you see another trend, you see another brand. The whole marketing game is kind of, they've made it so aspirational and so it's so desiring, right? You just want to like buy it, even if you don't want it, you just want to buy it. So the marketing game has changed. The whole AI, the whole data game, the meta game. Like even if you want to, even if you think of a product that comes on your feed, right? You just think, oh, maybe I want a crochet top, and the crochet top arrives in front of you. So it's like so easy to buy. You just need to think about it, and you can just get it in front of you, and you can just buy it. So buying is super easy, but is reusing easy? Is recycling easy? Is upcycling easy? No. Is reselling easy? No, absolutely not. Like even when I started ReWago, that's one of the biggest challenge, because though we are a platform for people to sell and buy, the whole buying process will happen only if people sell. Now, is selling made easy with ReWago? Maybe to an extent by creating a platform, but I still don't think people would take that much of efforts to list a product on a platform and wait for it to get sold, right? So the whole selling game, or like the whole recycling game, the whole reusing game is not made so easy so far. And that's the whole mission of ReWago. I mean, definitely we're not there yet. We are trying to create a e-commerce engine, so it's super easy for people to actually buy and sell secondhand. It's not just about buying; it's also about selling as well. Like people should give away. So that is one. I would say that's a logical reasoning. Like, is selling or is reusing easy? Another thing is, I feel even especially Indians or maybe people globally as well, there's a lot of emotional stigma. Like, it's so hard for us to let go of things. Oh, I don't want to let go of that top I used to wear 10 years ago because it was my favorite top 10 years ago. Doesn't really make sense, but it's an emotional thing. It's in good condition. It could probably help someone else, like, avoid another purchase of someone else. It's there unused, but I still am emotionally attached to the product. So it's the emotional stigma. And the other thing is definitely, I would say the kind of stigma that we have, that I would say that's especially seen within India, which is still changing, but it's still there. Buying secondhand is seen a little bit, lower. It's not that great. I don't want to tell people that I bought it secondhand, because it's not going to look good. People will think that, I don't have the money for it. People, that kind of stigma. So the whole reusing game is made so difficult for us emotionally, economically. There's so much of stigma and logically as well. Like, it's so difficult to resell something. So yeah, I think that's the reason why overconsumption is happening, because buying is super easy, but reselling is not, or reusing is not. Like upcycling. Like, I got this upcycle only because I have a friend who's upcycling this way. If I take my old kurti with a stain to a tailor nearby, I don't think they will be very interested to, upcycle that into a top for me. Otherwise, I should learn how to upcycle, and that's also not. That's again difficult. So the whole overconsumption, this whole thing is happening because buying is super easy, but reusing, recycling, upcycling, nothing is made easy. And that's what ReWago is. What that's the mission of ReWago. Now, talking about the environmental impact, I mean, isn't that obvious? So much of carbon footprint. When a product comes to you, it even before it comes to you, it's got a lot of carbon footprints already, because there is resource allocated, there is raw materials, manufacturing, logistics, so many things happening to that product even before it reaches you. So that itself is coming to you with a lot of carbon footprints already. Now imagine you don't use it. It's more than it being a waste, like more than you throwing it away. I feel it's when you don't use it, it's so much of resources that's wasted. So many people, so much of carbon footprints that's already produced, that's like there, and you're not even using it. So what's the whole point? So definitely there are a lot of environmental aspects that way. And socially, I think, which is very close to my heart, I would say, is that there are so many people who cannot afford good stuff, right? And if you decide to sell something that's really good, it's in good condition. It's not about selling or like giving away torn stuff and stained stuff. It's about giving away things that's good, but you're not using it. And if you're ready to give away that, it will actually benefit someone who couldn't really afford it. Now, starting with my case, like I, as a student, I mean, obviously I didn't want to depend on my parents for my fancy clothing and things like that. Being an eldest daughter, I had that thing in my head. So for me, it was very important that I work within my budget. And I would never have bought a Zara pants worth 30 euros. I would definitely go for something like a little bit lower. But I was super happy when I got that. Coming to my house that I got furnished, I got really cool furnitures. I still remember I got this very beautiful wooden shelf from a lady. She was shifting to another country. So she was just trying to declutter everything, because she cannot take a whole cupboard with her when she moves. So she was like selling everything in her apartment, and it was the last day, like last night, and she just put it on a platform for free. And I just happened to see it, and she was like, yeah, I mean, there were like 300 requests. I was just lucky to be seen by her. And she just, yeah, if you can come in like 1 hour, you can take it for free. And I got that entire wooden shelf for like, which is actually worth 300 euros in the market. That's around 30,000 rupees now. I got it for free. So for me to furnish an apartment super, super cheap, but to get like really good quality, good stuff, like fancy stuff in my apartment, I was super happy about that. So imagine about that social side that people, the way people could get benefited with this whole culture being established. So yeah, I think these are the different environmental and social impact that this culture could make. which makes it super important. Yeah.
Yeah, Juliana. I completely agree with you because environmental and social stigma still lies around this thrift culture, actually.
Yeah.
That is one of the reasons why people even dare to buy something that is thrifted. So, do you
Yes.
still do you think that primarily it's mainly the consumer's mindset, or is it the fashion industry that is normalizing this overconsumption?
I think it's both, right? I mean, they would want to
Yeah.
sell things, the industry, but you are also buying it. So it's both. I also think that so buying secondhand in Western countries, I think it's super normalized. People get super excited. So there are like these. When I was in Sweden, we used to have these Sunday markets, and they used to be like very fancy, like thrift markets. Like you touch something, it's just €1. €1 is like 90 rupees, and it could be like super fancy stuff, super good antique stuff. So people used to get very excited about these thrift markets and Sunday markets, and I think there it's quite normalized. But when I talk about the same thing here, like especially when I told my parents and my family that okay, I'm leaving my job at H&M because I want to come back to India and do this, they were like, what? Would really people buy secondhand? I mean, isn't it icky to buy secondhand? Like, why would people do that? And why are you like leaving your, a job that you dreamed for? Because for me, the job at H&M, that was like my dream job. I wanted to do exactly what I was doing there. That was the exact job I wanted to do. And having that exposure, being in a global team, in the global headquarters, I think I wouldn't have wished for anything more. And when I got it, and then when I decided to leave that, obviously I would have thought over it a million times, right? So that's what I told my parents too. But my family and my parents, they really thought I was crazy to do this because they were not really finding it normal for that to really click in India. But honestly, I before leaving my job, I did a lot of research. I did a lot of groundwork, which kind of gave me and my parents also a little bit of confidence. So yeah, things have changed. But I think to answer your question, Sarah, I think it's both. It's the people's mindset because people think buying new is always better. It's fresh, it's hygienic, it's going to be like it's beautiful, it's like good quality, and it's also the brands who are trying to sell trends in such a fast manner. In Europe, they are kind of the governments are putting a lot of laws on this so that fashion brands don't change the collections and trends like so often. There are a lot of laws to help reduce it, but I don't think that's enough because we've gone out of our hands. So if we don't take drastic steps, it's not really going to help us. So they are taking steps, but I don't know if that's helpful enough. So yeah, it's both, I would say.
So, Juliana, I think recognizing a problem or finding an opportunity for yourself is one thing, and building a solution around it and actually driving it to the level that you leverage it properly is another thing. So, how did the idea of ReWago begin to take shape?
So yeah, I mean, as I said, coming back to India and starting something on my own was always my idea. Uh, Back in my BTech, when I was doing my engineering, so my bachelor's was in engineering, which has nothing to do with what I'm doing right now. I did my engineering in electronics and communication at Government Model Engineering College. So when I joined for engineering, I was like, I need to be I want to be an engineer. That was the whole idea. I loved science and maths. I wrote my entrance and that's how I got in. But after my first year, I kind of realized that no, I want to do something on my own. I want to build my own business. I did have a side hustle. Like during my engineering days, I started a small t-shirt brand. We used to do this custom t-shirts for like events. We also launched a small design thing on Amazon. That's back then. I didn't know what thrifting is. Obviously, I was part of this fashion industry back then. And then after my engineering, I kind of realized that I want to pursue my career in the business field, and I want to do something on my own later on. That's how I went to France. So to answer that, like coming back, doing something on my own was always the idea, but I didn't know what. I wanted to do something that I was really passionate about, because end of the day, when you're really passionate about a cause, then you will go all in, right? Because business is, or doing something on your own, it's going to have its ups and downs. And if you don't have the perseverance to stay, uh, I mean, the passion and the whole reason why you're doing it is the reason why you would stay. So I was in search for that, for that idea that would actually give me that perseverance. And then I started thrifting, and then I became more conscious. I got more knowledge, and I was like, yes, I mean, this is exactly what I want. What I want to do. When I go back to India, I want to build something that India doesn't have right now, because it's super easy to buy and sell in Europe. But when I come back to India, I cannot do that, right? I cannot buy something secondhand so easily, because it's a lot of Instagram pages. I need to go search, message people, wait for their replies. So why not bring all under one platform? Like, make it super easy for even the thrift sellers on Instagram. Be a platform for them. Be the tech enabler for them. Help them logistically, because logistics is a big issue. So we are the tech marketing and logistics partner for anybody who wants to sell things, and we are a platform where anybody can buy secondhand super easily. So I don't think we're there yet. Like, we're nothing close to what we want to be. We are in our MVP stage. So yeah, I mean, that's how ReWago happened, I would say, and it's going great. Honestly, when I started, I had zero hopes. I actually came down during one of my vacations to Kochi. I came down and I hosted a thrift pop-up sale. So like, I just gathered a lot of things from my friends that they no longer used, and it was like a 10 days holiday. And those 10 days I was behind marketing that pop-up sale. I spoke to a cafe. They gave me space. It's called Cafe Vivi in Kakinad, and they gave me space for free. So it was not for like any profit. I didn't have any profit. It was just like gathering stuff, and people can just buy stuff for like 50 euros, 100 euros. And the amount of response I saw that day gave me hope. I was like, okay, in Kochi, if people are so much into thrifting, if they are getting excited about buying things secondhand, I spoke to a lot of Gen Zs, because that's definitely the younger generation is what's kind of driving this change. I understood that it's definitely going to grow and get better. So I was like, yeah, maybe I can stop my job and come back and be part of this movement.
That's great, Juliana. We are hearing about how you started ReWago and how you have struggled to get it in front of the customers. You are telling right now how you used to gather people to get to buy it. And seeing the response in Kochi, obviously you wanted to make it much bigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
So before starting that, what are some of the biggest hurdles that you faced? Well, convincing the people, or be it telling about the pre-loved fashion, about the value in it, about the trust in it, maybe the hygiene as well. How did you overcome that challenge?
So I would say I started by creating the awareness. So when I was working in H&M, I used to have this. So I already had this name ReWago in my mind 3 years before I started ReWago. So the name was already there. Um, and I started this Instagram page called ReWago Thrifting Community, and I was just talking about thrifting. Like, I used to talk about the things I thrift. I used to give shout outs to sellers. So then eventually I started seeing people come to my, the ReWago's DMs and ask, oh, I want to thrift a chudidar. Where can I thrift a chudidar? And then I try to find a thrift seller who's selling chudidars, and I just connect both of them together. And I used to do all of that. I used to talk to a lot of people who loved thrifting and who really wanted that culture to establish in India. So I started by creating that awareness. And then eventually, when I used to come for vacations, I started hosting these pop-up sales. So like offline experience. The first pop-up, I remember it was all youngsters. Like, it was everyone were like young people. They heard about thrifting, and probably it was like one of the first thrift pop-ups that was happening in Kochi. So then they all gathered. But the second edition we hosted, they brought their parents in, a few of them. And I remember like a auntie, she was like looking at the saris, and she was like, oh, for 50 rupees, you get such a good sari. And I was like, yes, that's the whole point, and you see them change the way they think, right? Because the elders, they're always like, no, it's not, it's going to be bad, it's not going to be good quality, you're just wasting money on second hand. That's what the elders would say, because for them to accept this is even harder, because they're not exposed to so much of awareness that's happening online, right? But then I saw that change when they actually experienced it. So for me, I felt like, yeah, it's just a matter of, having that first-hand experience, and that first-hand experience should be good. So you have platforms like OLX. There's so much of scams that's happening. It's not like great quality. You have uncurated. Instagram is like it's completely scattered. It's not curated. So if you want something good, you really don't know where to go for good stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think to answer your question, uh, one of the things I did to overcome that challenge of changing the mindset was, to create awareness. I don't think we've not done massively great, because there's still a lot of stigma, there's still a lot of awareness needed. This is a very new category that's developing in India. A lot of thrift sellers coming in, a lot of platforms like ReWago coming in. It makes me super happy when competitors come in. I had somebody slide into my DM like a couple of days back, and he was like, so I'm building something very similar to what you're trying, you're doing it with ReWago. I'm trying to build something very similar, and I'm trying to be your competitor. I know it's super weird, but I want to know your experience, if you don't mind. And I was like, no, it's totally fine. Like, I am so happy to see somebody building in the same space, because that kind of shows how important that is. That kind of shows that there are people really wanting this culture to establish. So when we started, it was a very, niche category. I remember talking to a lot of investors, and they saying that, it's very niche. But then I feel now it's not a niche anymore. Like, everyone's wanting to do this. They just don't know how and where to go for it. So a lot of awareness needed, a lot of awareness needed. And yeah, I think that's the biggest challenge. And also the second biggest challenge is with regards to raising investments, like from a very entrepreneurial point of view. One of my biggest challenges, as I said, it's not, ReWago is not the easiest way to sell things. It's still a little bit of time consuming. And to develop that tech, I need to raise investments. So to get the numbers in so that we can convince the investors, so that the investment could come into this category, and we could develop something that's even better, and it's even efficient. That's another entrepreneurial challenge I'm facing at the moment. So yeah.
Yeah, Juliana, I can like totally relate about the Kochi culture about the thrift actually. So I got introduced to this last year actually. I just wanted to share my experience during my brother's marriage actually. So we
Oh,
were looking for lehengas and it was too expensive. During
yeah.
this time, we got my brother actually introduced to me. So I was so happy when I got to wear a much cheaper lehenga but very high value.
Yeah.
So that was really heartwarming. So if
Yeah.
people get to know more about it, that there's nothing
Yes.
much unhygienic about it. It's much
Yeah.
more good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just
So
that
over to
one,
you.
buyers should actually get a good first hand experience. And that's on the responsibility of the sellers, right? When people sell things, try not to sell things that are torn, stained, because we are all trying to bring a movement. We're all trying to bring a change. So if one person, one seller, random seller decides to give out bad stuff, that's like completely going to spoil that person who's buying his experience and his or her experience. And that's going to bring a blocker to this movement. So it's a collective
Exactly.
thing that we all need to do, people who sell and people who buy. But yeah, I totally relate to what you said, Sarah, because one of the I was like interviewing a lot of people before I started ReWago, before I left my job. And I remember one of my very favorite customer. So when I interviewed him, he was telling, yeah, I mean, obviously he had no experience with thrifting. But when I asked him, like, would you go for something like this? He was like, obviously. I mean, who would want to wear a a Zudio for 300 if you can get a H&M or Zara or like a better quality brand for rupees 300? So,
Exactly.
it's aspirational, yeah.
Yeah, that's heartwarming actually.
So
Yes.
I think in
Over to you.
India, pre-loved fashion is often viewed through the lens of necessity rather than a conscious choice. Like we discussed about the stereotypes and we discussed about
Yeah.
lack of awareness as well to
Yes.
some extent. So I think, yet globally, thrifting has become a lifestyle statement, like you shared from your experience as well. So what needs to change for thrift fashion to become equally aspirational and mainstream in India?
Yes, so that's exactly something what I just said right now. We need to ensure that what we sell in the second-hand market is good, because if we try to portray thrifting or like buying second-hand as things you would only get that's like broken, torn, spoiled, then obviously it's not going to be aspirational. uh, I feel the Gen Z, the generation is like totally into thrifting. I feel like they're totally accepting it. They're totally aware about the ecological impact that it's causing. They find thrifting super cool. That's another thing that when I interviewed a person, she said, if somebody asked me where you get the top from, I said it's thrifted. Like she did this, and that shows her excitement because she just want to convey that it's thrifted and it's super cool to thrift. And if the generation thinks like that, we have succeeded there. So we just need people to think that way, and for people to think that way also you need to get good stuff. So that's why ReWago, we want to be a platform that curates or like that enables only good products in the front. So we have a checklist where we try to monitor products. We 99% of the time we try to ensure the checklist is maintained. 1% we never know, right? Uh, it's a little bit. It's a huge country. It's a huge market. Like you can't really go one by one to like each for each products. But yeah, we try to curate things that way. So to make it aspirational, I think it should be curated, and if it's curated the whole experience will be good, and then people will, it's super cool, right? Like you get something super cheap, you're like saving the planet, you're like super responsible citizen of the world. So why wouldn't it be aspirational?
Considering all these pointers, and looking at the demographic dividend of our country, which is like a lot of
Yeah.
youngsters out there, and
Yes.
when we talk about youngsters, something that comes up is social media as well. How do you think there is a responsibility to the younger audiences and the social media as a medium in this movement, how they can contribute?
I think they can contribute by normalizing it. We have the power of social media. I mean, we should use that to normalize the whole culture. If 10 of my friends, they put on Instagram that they thrifted something and they're like super happy about it. For me, eventually I will think, oh, thrifting is cool. You know, so I think use the medium to talk about it, talk about how cool it is, talk about how important it is. It's not just about being cool, it's about how important it is. And yeah, talk about that. We have social media is so powerful. So because awareness is the key. That's imagine. I think India, according to statistics, India kind of contributes up to 10% into global textile waste. So that's 1 out of 9 clothes textile waste is coming from India. And India, there are so many countries, and India is holding such a big percentage. So if we kind of bring this change, it's kind of going to have an impactful change globally as well. So yeah, use the power of social media to what do you say, flaunt it, to flaunt that you thrifted something. And that's definitely going to help someone else change their mind too.
That's very true, actually, Juliana. If it is made cool, people will try. At least the new generation, they will try to look into it and they will try buying such a. And by seeing the new generation, I think the older generation as well will get into it.
Yes,
But
exactly.
other than the cost saving part in this thrift culture, there would be, we were telling about the negative in environmental as well as social aspect. So, what would be the positive side about it, other than cost saving and that?
I mean, definitely on the, you mean like on the environmental and social aspects, what would be
Yeah.
what is the possible. We are definitely reducing carbon footprints, right? When we thrift something, when we buy something that's already there, it's already produced. So instead of buying something new where you're like creating more demand for things that's new, try to reuse something that's already there, which is already used all the resources. It's already got a carbon footprint. It's already there on the planet. So try to use it as much as possible. Try to recycle it. Try to upcycle it. Then try to recycle it. Try to ensure that whatever you buy, be it clothing, be it any lifestyle product, you use it until it's, what do you say, till the maximum, so that we have kind of got, for all the resources that's been used for manufacturing that product, we've kind of utilized it. So yeah, I mean, such a big population globally, uh, if like 10% of the global population decides to thrift, decides to make their first choice secondhand, then we are reducing a huge carbon footprint. And then on the social aspect, we are trying to provide, or we are trying to make things affordable for people who cannot afford it. Social aspect, we are like, the economy of the country is going to grow that way. The people's lifestyle, their standard of living is going to be better, because maybe I cannot afford something that's of good quality, or maybe I cannot afford a fridge, but if I can get it secondhand and if it's good, then uh, my standard of living is being better. And that way the countries, the bigger chunk of the citizens, or like the population of the country, their standard of living is getting better. So definitely there is so much of impact that's going to happen when we thrift, environmentally and socially.
That's great, actually. So, if people get to realize the positive impact that is going to happen, the people will be much more. There should be some value in it, other than just
Yeah.
seeing the positive about it.
Yeah.
If people see value, I believe they will invest in it. So,
Yes, yes, exactly.
according to me, thrift culture should be made much more popular in here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It's not just
Over
about
to you.
the economical thing. It's also like so much of impact you're driving. Imagine the power you have when you thrift something. You're driving so much of change. I think people should
Exactly.
feel that, when you thrift, you should be so proud. Like, you're bringing so much
Yeah.
of change and impact environmentally, socially. And when you, not only when you buy things, but also when you sell, uh, you should be proud of yourself when you sell something that's good but you're not using it. It's like left there in your house. When you just decide to let it go, you're bringing a lot of change environmentally and socially. You're helping another person get something nice, and you're helping the planet reduce its carbon footprint. So yeah, both ways.
I think the positioning needs to change, and the perception will be an outcome of the positioning as well. So I think the way we say pre-owned to now some places we say
Pre-loved.
pre-loved,
Yeah.
it's shifted.
Yeah.
Similarly, it will help in changing the perception about the thrift
Yes.
culture,
That
especially
was
in a
like a, yeah, I mean, that was an input one of the investors that I spoke to gave me. Like, before, I used to say second hand. Then he was like, don't say second hand, say pre-loved. It was loved before by someone. Now they are letting it go, and another person can love it the same way. And there's so much of beauty in it. So try to, he also mentioned to position it that way. So I think it's a very important point. Yeah.
I think many businesses they struggle to
So,
balance the purpose with the profitability of the business part.
Yeah.
As ReWago continues to grow now, how do you ensure that the sustainability remains at the heart of your business while also
Yeah.
building a scalable and commercially viable model?
Yeah. No, I totally, I mean, that is very important to see, to check, because when you start a business, it's not just about the social impact. I mean, definitely that's the passion, that's the reason why you started. But if it's not sustaining, then there's no point, right? Honestly, with ReWago, I feel, as I said, the biggest challenge is that We have so many people visiting our website. I had initially have no, I mean, I still don't have the funds to push into marketing. So we've not really marketed it much. We are in our MVP stage. We're still developing. But even with zero marketing spend, we have like 50,000, 60,000 people visiting our website every month. I get calls from shop, because our platform is on Shopify, and I get calls from these Shopify plugin companies, because they want to sell their plugin with us, and they come to us because on their data they see so much of traffic to the website. Now there is so much of traffic, but we are not able to convert it. Why? Because there are not much products to cater for this kind of audience. Uh, which means when it's secondhand, it's all one piece. When you buy something from H&M, there might be just 25 pieces in their collection, but each piece is catered for different kinds of people, and it's available in different sizes, different colors. So it's a huge collection, and you can just go and buy what you like according to your taste. But in ReWago, on our platform, when you come to get your size, to get the jeans of your color, your size, your fit, it's very difficult because it's all one piece. So to actually cater to such a big audience, especially like in a country like India, without zero marketing, if we have so much of audience coming into our platform already, imagine the impact that marketing and awareness can create. But at the same time, we need products, so people should also let go of things, and it should be made easy for them to let go as well. And that's exactly going back to what I said before, to create a tech that's super efficient so that it's super easy for people to sell. That's the biggest challenge we are facing right now. And I personally feel if that's cracked in the right way, if we get the funds and if we can crack it the right way, it's going to be a very profitable and a sustainable business category. Yeah.
I think Sarah has lost the connection.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, now we have spoken about the business model, we've spoken about what people think. I think now is the time to discuss the way ahead. Like, as someone working closely within this space, how do you see circular fashion and resale marketplaces evolving in India over the next 5 years?
I think circular resale industry in India is super huge. It's $1 billion industry in India, but it's fragmented, it's scattered, it's all over the place. Now, in the next 5 years, I see it getting organized with the power of AI, with the power of all the tech. We can organize this industry so that the right things reach the right people. Now, what we lack is a super efficient system, right? Like if I need something, uh, if I might be ready to buy it secondhand, but would I get it secondhand? How will I get it? I wouldn't know where exactly to go to get it. So making the whole system organized is super important. And in the next 5 years, I think going to be that's how the industry is going to go. That's probably the direction the industry is going to go. If we make this industry systematic and organized, it's going to boom.
What excites you the most about
Oh,
it?
honestly, in the next 5 years, I see ReWago. I always say that I see ReWago as a biggest, like $1 billion company, a unicorn from India. And what excites me the most is to just see people buy secondhand, to buy, to see people buy pre-loved, to just see that, to hear stories of how, like how Sarah said, she was searching for a lehenga, it was super expensive, and then she found it secondhand. I just want to see, I just want to hear such stories. I'm very excited for this, to just see how this, because when I started, like I started very recently, but we're still just evolving. The stigma, it's all there. So in the next 5 years, if all of that changes, and if we are actually bringing a big change, as collectively bringing a change, because I'm just not talking about ReWago, I'm talking about the entire industry that's working towards it, like my competitors, all of us together, if we are going to make a change, isn't that going to be great? Like, It's going to be super nice to watch, and
Yeah.
it's going to be super exciting to also know that I was part of the beginning, and I was there since then. So that excites me the most.
Right. So I think before we wrap up, we would love to do a very quick rapid fire round with you. The
Oh
first
my god.
thing that comes to mind. Okay. So I think I'll go ahead with it. One fashion item everyone should consider thrifting.
Jackets.
One myth about pre-loved fashion you would love to bust.
That it's unhygienic.
Okay. Sustainable habit you have adopted personally.
Taking water bottles everywhere I go.
Very thoughtful. Okay, so you have to now complete this sentence. I'm just saying a sentence. The
You're making it
future of
super
fashion,
difficult.
yeah, the
Okay.
future of fashion is dash.
Thrifting.
Obviously, have to be.
Yeah.
One piece of advice for someone who wants to become a more conscious consumer.
I mean, there are so many things you can, because it's not just about thrifting. It's a lot of other things as well. Take bottles wherever you go. Take a bag with you when you go shopping. Thrift whenever you can. It's the little things. It's not like big, massive changes. It's the small things, small steps. That's gonna help a lot.
Sarah, are you there?
Yeah.
There's some lag.
Can it? Yeah. So before we close, that was very insightful and very challenging questions, I guess, for you
Yeah.
because it's fun. Rapid fire
Yeah.
is fun.
Yeah.
So before we close, I would love the audience to ask their questions this time so that Juliana can answer them. Please put in your chat. We can hand it over to her. Okay. So already the questions are there. I'll just read it out for you, Juliana. So Srinath Deshmukh is asking, what is the average age of customers buying second-hand clothes?
Oh, I would say 95% of people are under 30, because we make it a point that we call all our customers to check how their experience was. Did they like the product? We take a feedback on quality, sizing, everything, like different aspects. We have a checklist. Almost 95% of our customers are under 30 age.
Yeah. Next question is from Preeti Jagwani. Are you looking for a co-founder for ReWago?
Oh, yes, I am actually. I'm actually looking for a co-founder. I've actually I've posted that on LinkedIn as well, because it's a big mission, and if I have a teammate as a co-founder, that would be great. I eventually realized that, so I'm very much looking for a co-founder because it's a very operational heavy business. So much we can do. If I had a co-founder, I felt like I could do it faster. So yeah, I am.
Mhm. Yeah. So we can give the contacts if Preeti wants it,
Yeah, sure.
the email ID. So
Yes.
next question is from Preeti itself. Is ReWago also present in Canada?
Canada? No, we're
Yeah.
only India. Yeah. We're only, it's just for India because for us, logistically, we've partnered with a delivery partner and they only do it India. If we do it internationally, that's not going to be very feasible. So at the moment, we want to keep it very economical that way. So yeah, it's only available in India.
Okay. So we have one more question that is from Chehak Sharma. As ReWago grows, how do you plan to maintain trust and quality control and avoid becoming just another open market like OLX?
Yes, I mean that's again, it's with a lot of tech. We need to have a very controlled Q&A process, and even right now we have a very though we do a lot of things manually, we try to uh, ensure that we only approve products after going through a little bit of checklist. Also, when people buy stuff, we only give the money to the seller once the buyer approves it. So they've got 24 hours to check if the product was good, and they, if they have any complaints, if it was a scam, if it was a totally different product, they can always come back to us. So their money is safe. So we kind of eradicate scams that way. So yeah, I think using tech, we need to. It's a long way to go. It's a lot of uh, resources to be invested in it, but we need to ensure that the Q&A is proper, and that's the biggest challenge we are facing right now.
So we have one last question from Shana Fatima. How do you view and tackle the issues of hygiene in thrifting? How would you explain that it is not unhygienic to someone who thinks it is?
So, see, it's a very tricky question, right? You can't. So, how do I put this? So if a seller decides to sell something, as I said before, if they decide to sell something that's super bad, it's like if it's stinking, we can't really do much about it, because end of the day, we are a platform, and all we can do is we safeguard the buyer's money, finances. So in case a bad product reaches them, there is always a way to get around things. But it's also about creating that awareness among people that you shouldn't sell things without washing it, or like without cleaning it, because I think it's more of a, what do you say, it's the basic ethics that you maintain when you try to come into the system, that you ensure that you sell something that's hygienic and that's clean. You probably wash the cloth before you sell it. Now, to convince someone who thinks that, I mean, all I can tell them is to try ReWago. Try ReWago, try platforms that you trust. End of the day, if something goes bad, at least your money is safe, because you have a middle person. And that's the whole problem we're trying to solve, because there are so many people trying to sell things on Instagram, and there is no cash on delivery, there is no return, there is no refund. So you need to pay upfront to get something. And you obviously have these doubts. If I pay and if I get something totally different, will I? I'm audible, right?
Yes, yes, we can
Yeah,
hear you. Yeah.
yeah. So all these can happen, but when it's a platform like ours, which is kind of like working as a middle person, we kind of try to eradicate all of this. So yeah, I think it's just about giving it a try.
Yeah, that was a wonderful answer. So for everyone out there who want to thrift, go to ReWago and buy your stuff there. So
Yeah, and
before we
also
close,
sell things
yeah,
if you don't use anything.
I did.
And also sell things when if you have things that you don't use anymore. So it's not just about buying; it's also about giving away. So then there is circularity there.
Exactly. So before we close, I would love to share this one thought remaining with the audience. So fashion is second chance. Ultimately, it begins with our first choice, that is thrift culture. So every time we choose to reuse, repair, exchange, donate, or even thrift, we help extend the life of a product and reduce pressure on the planet's resources. Small choices repeated consistently can create meaningful changes. Yeah, Laksh.
Wonderful, Sarah.
Thank you for sharing your journey, Juliana, for your
Thank you so much, Lakshmi.
insights and your vision with us today. Here, your work reminds us that giving clothes is a second life is not simply about reducing waste, but it's about reimagining the value, challenging consumption patterns, and creating a more circular future for all of us. Thank you for joining us
Yeah,
today.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you, Lakshay. Thank you, Sarah. You guys were amazing today. Very interesting questions.
thank
And
you.
thanks to the whole team, Skan, Bharat, for inviting me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, audience, for attending this podcast as well. It was lovely to have
Yeah,
you all here. Thank
thank you,
you.
everyone. We hope today's conversation inspires you to thrift and sell
Yes.
and resell and use it till the last.
Yes.
So this is
Absolutely.
Sarah, Laksh, and Juliana signing off. Thank you
Bye
for
bye.
listening. Until the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
We'll just stay back for a photo if that's
Oh,
fine
okay.
with everyone.
Yeah, yeah, no problem.
Laksh, are you there? Is Laksh there?
I can't see him.
Me too. Just a minute. I just follow.